Good morning. Today's lesson is 1.6.5. Today we are going to add and subtract decimals. Our essential question: how can you add and subtract a multi-digit decimal? Connect. The place value of a digit in a number shows the value of the digit. The number 2 and 358 thousandths shows that 2 ones, 3 tenths, 5 hundredths, and 8 thousandths. So here's the place value chart. Here's my decimal. So this is my ones place, my tens, hundreds, thousands, and so on. On the other side of the decimal, it's my tenths, my hundredths, and my thousandths, and so on. Let's unlock the problem. Amanda and 3 of her friends volunteer at the local animal shelter. One of their jobs is to weigh the puppies and kittens and to chart their growth. Amanda's favorite puppy weighed 2 and 358 thousandths pounds last month. If it gained 1 and 8 hundredths pound, how much does it weigh this month? Now the key is, first, to know, how do you know whether it's an add or subtract the weight in the given problem? Well, think about it. In the problem, it said that the puppy will gain weight. First, they want me to estimate the sum. So if I'm estimating the sum 2.3, I look at the second number after the decimal, and the 3 is not big enough because it's not 5 or more to change the 2. So we're going to make this 2. And I look at the 1, and the 0 definitely cannot change the 1. So this is going to be 2 plus 1. So our sum is going to be 3. Then they want us to add the thousands, add the hundredths, tenths, ones, and then regroup as needed. The one thing that I notice when we're adding and subtracting that usually causes the most problems is these decimals. If you do not line up the decimals, and you do not line up your ones places, line up your thousands, line up your hundreds, it's going to be an inaccurate problem. So the very first thing, personally, before you even start adding, is making sure that you have your decimal lined up and that you have your numbers lined up in the place value that they should be. Once you've done that, then you can start adding. So I have 8, but I don't have anything in the thousandths here. So you just consider it a 0. So 8 plus 0 is 8. Now I have 8 plus 5, which is 13. So I'm going to put my 3 here, carry my 1, carry my tens place because I have to move it over. I have too many. And then I have 3 plus 1, which is 4. And then here's my decimal. So now I'm going to bring down my decimal because my decimal is right there. And then I have 2 plus 1, which is 3. So compare your estimate with the sum. Since the estimate 3 is close to 3.438, the answer is reasonable. So the puppy weighs 3.438 pounds this month. Look for structure. Is it necessary to add a 0 after 1 and 8 tenths or 8 hundredths to find the sum? Explain. No. However, we can add a 0 and keep the add-ins aligned by adding the place value. So by adding that place value right here, it kind of helps me keep everything aligned. You don't have to put that in, but it did help me to keep it aligned so that I remembered where I was. Explain how place value can help you add decimals. Well, I talked about this already, but it tells which digits to add so that I add the thousands to the thousandths and so on. We want to make sure that we're adding the thousands to the thousandths, the hundreds to the hundreds, the tens to the tenths, the ones to the ones place. A bee hummingbird, the world's smallest animal, has a mass of 1.836 grams, or 1 and 836 thousandths grams. A new United States nickel has a mass of 5 grams. What is the difference in grams between the mass of the nickel and the mass of the humming bee. So that keyword, what is the difference, tells me that I'm going to be subtracting. So first they want us to estimate the difference. Well, 5, that's 5, right? Then it asks us to estimate this next one. So remember, when I'm estimating, I'm going to look, because they want me to estimate to the nearest whole number. So there's my whole number. I'm going to look at the place value next to it. If this is 5 or greater, it will have enough power to change this to the next answer. 8 is 5 or greater, therefore this 1 is going to become a 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. Now here's the tricky part. You have to line up the decimals. So and I know they did it back here, but I just want to make sure that we're doing it. I want to do it up here too. So this is my whole number, and this 5 is my whole number. And I have it all the way to the thousands place after here, but with the 5, I don't. All right, let's do a few more problems. We're going to do the share and show. So I don't like it lined up like this, but this is just for our estimate. So if I have my 3, I'm going to look to the next number. 4 is not 5 or bigger, so I'm going to keep my estimate as a 3. For here I look at my 1. 9 is big enough because it's 5 or more, so I can change this 1 to a 2. So my estimate's 3 minus 2, which is 1. So my answer should be close to 1. First, I'm going to subtract, and in this case, I'm going to subtract this last number, which is the hundredths place, first. So I have 0 from 2, which is 2. I have 9 from 4, but I can't take 9 objects from 4 things. If I've got 9 people and 4 popsicles, we're going to have to break those up. So we're going to change this. This is going to become 14, and your 3 is going to become a 2. So now I have 14 from 9, which is 5. Put my decimal, because I bring my decimal down in that same spot. And I have 1 take away 2, which is 1, which is pretty close to the 1. Now, I'm not going to make you estimate on this page, but I am going to do that on the computer. This is 3 numbers. It is the same thing. Do not get fooled. You still have to line those decimals up. So I have 21.047, and I have 5 point, keep my point lined up, 6, 8, and I have 2.3. Now look here, they are mixing up addition and subtraction. You need to make sure that you're watching your signs. So I'm going to add my plus. So it's easier, honestly, for me to add my zeros because it helps me keep everything in line. It's up to you if you could do it in your head, but I personally like to line those decimals up, or add the zeros. And the zeros will not change the value of the number after the last digit. So I have 7 plus 0 is 7. I have 8 plus 4, which is 12, carry my 1. And then I have 6 plus 3, which is 9, plus 1 is 10, carry my 1. Make sure I'm lining up my decimals. I got to follow that decimal down. I have 5 plus 2, which is 7, plus 1 is 8, plus another 1 is 9, and then I have 2 with nothing down here, so it's going to be 29 and 27 thousandths. Okay, same thing with subtraction. You just line them up. I did a few subtraction problems, so I'm not going to do that. I think this one right here might be the only other one that might be kind of tricky. You got to remember your rules of operations. So you're going to do what's in the parentheses first, and then do what's outside the parentheses. And you do what's outside the parentheses like you're reading from this way to this way. So in this case, I've got 8.54, 3, 4, 6, and I'm going to add these. So 4 and 6 is 10, and then I've got 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 4 is 10. Remember, I bring down my decimal because I lined those up. And then I have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm getting 12 whole. So now I have 12. Subtract 6.749. Again, I'm going to add a space saver 0 here so that I can do the problem. This is another one of those where I'm going to have to borrow. So I've got 10. I'm going to have to keep going because I can't borrow from here. And I can't borrow from here, so I'm going to have to take from here. And I'm going to have to keep taking from here. So it's going to keep going over. So this is going to end up being a 0. This is going to end up being an 11. This is going to be 9 and 9. Because I had to keep going all the way over. Because normally this would be 10, but I had to take it from here. This would normally be 10, but I had to take it from here. This would normally be 1, but I need to borrow from here. So now I've got the 11 there. So now I have, and remember I'm subtracting, 9 and 10. That's 1. 4 minus 9 is 5. 7 minus 9 is 2. I make sure I bring my decimal down. 6 minus 11 is 5. So there's my answer right there. What I want you to do is work with a partner. I am definitely going to be there, as is my student teacher today. So you'll have lots of help if you need one of us. Again, the key, line those decimals up. It's really, really, really important. All right, good luck.